we simply cannot let China swallow us out. This is the perspective of the new U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. He said that if we don't do anything, in the next 10 years, China will come and tell us which resources we can or cannot use, what they will sell to us, and what they won't sell to us. So we have to start now. We have to protect ourselves. It's a perspective worth considering because this is another viewpoint that the United States is putting forward to justify why America has to wage such an intense trade war with China. You can support and access more perspectives from the United States by scanning this QR code or simply by subscribing. Yes, and it would make our team happy to know that the information we've put together is something people want to watch and that it's useful for everyone. Thank you very much. I get embarrassed every time we start the show. We've heard so much about the trade war that the United States has waged against China, like how they're planning to raise tariffs on China in all sorts of ways. And they're even planning to raise tariffs on other countries around the world too. From what I've heard, both economic analysts and many investors say that this trade war is a lose-lose situation. Neither side is likely to benefit much. But then, looking at it from another angle, today, Marco Rubio, the new Secretary of State of the United States, mentioned that if nothing is done about China, in less than 10 years from now, everything we consider essential in our lives will depend entirely on China, on whether China will allow us to have it or not. Whether they'll sell it to us or not, from, say, the medication we take to lower our blood pressure all the way to EV cars, things like that. China doesn't care where in the world EVs are manufactured, but when it comes to batteries, it all depends on whether the Chinese Communist government is willing to sell them or not. So if we don't do anything, if we don't address the root cause, which is China, from now on, everyone in the world will have to depend entirely on China, whether China will allow us to have it or not. Will China be willing to sell to us? And this is the outcome that, in parentheses, the United States simply cannot accept. Yeah, when you look at it from this perspective, it's pretty interesting. Can you accept that? Can others accept this? From Marco Rubio's view, China's really skilled. China excels at trade. We must admit it. And if we don't protect ourselves now, and things turn out the way he said, in the future, don't even ask what we could use to compete with China. The question is, what can we use to protect ourselves from China? Let's listen to what Marco Rubio has to say.
So if we don't change course, we are going to live in a world where much of what matters to us on a daily basis, from our security to our health, will be dependent on whether the Chinese allow us to have it or not. That's an unacceptable outcome.
At this point, we have to take a look and see, let's test China's abilities. Is China really the best in the world at trading? Yes, they are. And there are numbers to back that up, it's true. Because in 2024, the country that was the best at trading in the world, the one with the largest trade surplus over others, was China. Over the past year, China managed to achieve a trade surplus with other countries around the world of nearly $1 trillion US. And that was in just 1 year. Because not only can China produce an enormous quantity of goods, they can also make products really cheaply, the world's cheapest. Recently, they're not just making low-quality products. Take AI DeepSeek R1. DeepSeek R1 costs just 55 cents per million tokens, cheaper than OpenAI. Microsoft-owned OpenAI charges around $60 US, making it over 95% cheaper. Who would be crazy enough to pay for OpenAI anymore? Everyone's just switching over to DeepSeek now. This is why the NASDAQ stock market in the US lost $1 trillion in value in just 1 day. Even Nvidia, which is massive, lost $600 billion in a single day. This is the result of China being able to produce products at extremely low prices. And that's not even counting everything else yet. Because China owns the minerals used to make EV batteries, they can produce EV batteries at the lowest cost in the world, and in the largest quantities too. CATL is the main player, right? And then there's semiconductors, and solar cells too. From small goods to heavy industry, China produces them most efficiently and at scale. For 2024, China's trade surplus worldwide is nearly $1 trillion. This is the highest in the world, more than the United States, more than Germany, and more than Japan. And don't forget, the fact that China was able to outperform everyone else last year happened even while the country was under sanctions from President Joe Biden's administration. There are so many different products involved. This means that even though America and Western countries tried hard to sanction and restrict trade with China over the past year, it still wasn't enough. China is still able to rise this much. In other words, it means China doesn't really rely on trade with the West that much. China can sell to anyone. China profits from the global market. If they could expand to Mars, they would. For the United States, China is a thorn in their side, ready to stab at any moment. And America is unhappy that China is this good at selling things, because China is running a trade surplus with the whole world. A third of that surplus is with the United States. Besides that, China also has another effort that especially bothers them, CA. Trump is definitely not a fan of this move at all. It's the Chinese government's strategic effort to reduce its reliance on the US dollar. China is working incredibly hard to depend less on the US dollar, and that's obviously not something the United States is happy about, right? China is also the leader of the BRICS group. This just makes things even worse, which means that if the leader does something, the followers will follow suit. America is definitely not going to like this, and Donald Trump can no longer stand it. He announced on social media that he wants BRICS to commit to a clear promise that they must absolutely not issue a BRICS currency. And if any member nation in BRICS tries to de-dollarize, then they should be prepared to have a 100% trade tariff slapped on them. Oh, and he also said, don't you dare back any securities with any other currency to compete with the strength of the mighty United States dollar. This was the clear message delivered by Donald Trump. We didn't say that. Just to recap, the main BRICS countries are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, plus some other countries as well. Other countries are joining too. Now, let's analyze Trump's words and their meaning. What's it all about? What's the impact? First, Trump spoke about the BRICS group, promising not to create a currency. Some people might be wondering, wait, what's a BRICS currency? What is it, and does it even exist? Many believe it exists because of the hype, but it doesn't. No BRICS currency exists yet. But the question is, can Trump really get the BRICS group to make such a commitment? If he can, that would be pretty impressive. Another point Trump mentioned was, don't back any currency to compete with the mighty US dollar, or don't back any currency to go up against the great US dollar. This sounds really risky, really confrontational. If you translate it directly, it's basically saying, China, don't you dare try to bring the yuan up to compete with the US dollar. Because if you ask which BRICS currency is the strongest right now, it definitely has to be China's yuan. China is very determined to reduce its use of the US dollar in order to keep itself as far outside the reach of US dollar and American influence as possible. Take a look at this chart. Look at the blue section first. You'll see that back in 2000, China used the US dollar for as much as 83% of its international trade. But by this year, well, not this year, but last year, 2024, China's use of the US dollar in international trade dropped to just 42.8%. So now, if China isn't using the dollar for international trade, what are they using? Well, it has to be the yuan, right? Let's look at the same chart again. Now, look at the yellow section. Back in 2000, China basically didn't use the yuan at all for international trade. It was just 0.3%. But by last year, 2024, China used the yuan for international trade as much as 52.9%. And it's likely to keep rising even higher. What's important is that China trades with other countries without using the dollar. And it's not just the yuan that they use. They allow their trading partners to use their own local currencies for trade as well. This is actually a policy, a financial policy of China. And last year, China used as much as 4.62 trillion yuan in trade with BRICS countries using local currencies. So if you ask how much 4.62 trillion yuan that China used for international trade last year really is, well, it's a huge amount. 4.62 trillion won is about 22 trillion baht. That's a huge amount. If you compare the use of local currencies this year to last year, in 2024, it's actually up by as much as 5.1%. And another clear sign that shows China really doesn't want anything to do with the US dollar is that China has been continuously dumping US government bonds without a break, ever since Russia attacked Ukraine and then had 300 billion US dollars seized. China was like, nope, we're done. Since then, China, once holding 1.3 trillion US dollars in US government bonds, has been steadily selling them off. The latest update is that China now holds only 768 billion US dollars in US government bonds. Is that a small amount? Still, that's significant. It's still a lot of money. But if you ask whether it's dropped significantly, it certainly has. It's down 42% from its peak. Looking at the chart, other countries are also selling US bonds. Japan is worth mentioning as a G7 member. Japan is still dumping US government bonds too. They've sold off 61.9 billion US dollars worth. And this is something that really irritates Donald Trump because he wants to usher in a golden age for the United States. That means the US dollar has to thrive. It has to be something that holds global power like before. But what China is doing is reducing the use of the US dollar, and it's like China is an influencer. When China does something, others look at it and think, oh, I can do that too. So if China reduces its use of the US dollar, and other countries also reduce their use of the US dollar, then that's when trouble will start for the US dollar. Essentially, what this signifies is that the fewer people use the US dollar, the significantly less influence and power the US dollar will have as a strategic financial instrument in this world. To explain this in even simpler terms, the less everyone uses the US dollar, the United States will have significantly less power to penalize and pressure other countries through sanctions. And that's why Donald Trump had to come out and publicly state, hey, tell BRICS that I need you to commit to this and that. It's because BRICS, even though the member countries aren't exactly best friends, they're not really that united. Some even dislike each other. And some of these countries aren't very wealthy, but Donald Trump still feels he can't let them grow unchecked because BRICS is actually projected to grow percentage-wise even more than the G7 group. Just look at this chart. This data is from the IMF World Economic Outlook, April 2024. It shows the projected real GDP growth, or the expected income generating capacity of the G7 and BRICS countries for next year. So GDP, how much is it expected to grow? Let's go through the graph together. The top half is the G7, and the bottom half is the BRIC group along with the new members. As for the white dashed line you see in the middle, that's the average global GDP growth rate, which is at 3.2%. It's easy to see whose numbers are projected to grow more. All G7 countries are below the benchmark. Not a single one passes the world average. Every single one falls short. Meanwhile, looking at the BRICS group down below, from India and China to the UAE and Iran, they all surpass the benchmark. Even Ethiopia at the bottom still beats the global average GDP. Russia sits right on the line. That's why BRICS is something Donald Trump won't ignore, because in growth, BRICS outpaces the Western world. But I just want to point out that there's still something we need to consider. Even though BRICS has such a strong growth trend, don't forget that the G7 countries are growing more slowly because they're already major economies as a group. And more importantly, if you look at the population numbers, BRICS has a much lower GDP per capita, or income per person, compared to the G7 group. It's a huge difference. That means the quality of life for people in BRICS countries right now can't really compare to the quality of life in G7 countries. Now, returning once again to the central question, can China really achieve global dominance? Does the situation truly align with what Marco Rubio said? Let's take a look back at how China's investments compare to those of the United States over the past several years. For example, the Belt and Road Initiative, which has built infrastructure, whether it's maritime routes or key strategic points around the world, as well as high-speed rail infrastructure that's also spread across the globe. This is so that China can trade globally. And importantly, China has never stopped. Most recently, they've stopped buying US government bonds. Do you know what they did with that money? They invested it in an oil refinery in Sri Lanka. It's worth 3.7 billion US dollars. And they also invested in Chancay, a massive port in Peru that connects to Latin America. They invested in this port, which is valued at up to 1.3 billion US dollars. This investment will allow China to export goods directly to Latin America without having to go through US ports. See, over the years, China has continuously invested in trade infrastructure and has never stopped. If you want to know more about this in detail, you can check out the video I made about it before. Chinese ships. While the United States invests more like a chess game, focusing on the military, combat, warfare, and weapons of war. And if anyone wants to know just how massively the United States has invested in this area, I actually made a video about this too, America's arsenal that the world fears. However, since the current leader of the United States is Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is a very smart person, and it seems like he's starting to realize that investing only in offense might not be enough. That's why Donald Trump has started wanting to build up the country's trade infrastructure game. So now the United States is getting really serious about this. Donald Trump even went to talk to the Prime Minister of Denmark, saying, "I have to get Greenland." If you're interested and want to hear more about Donald Trump's plan for wanting to buy Greenland, please type the letter G down in the comment section. But the real point of this video is just to leave you with something deep to think about. Like, wow, is the United States really blocking China's influence this much? Or is it actually other countries doing it too? Yes, it is definitely other countries too. So, should our own country also be finding new ways to block China as well?